Boom! We are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy, making thick in the warm, Zach Elias.
Ew, that's awful. The worst one you've called me yet.
Zach,
But you are watching Big Mouth. Good for you.
I have to formally apologize. Last week you brought up Big Mouth, and I think I don't know if we talked about it on the show or maybe I just poo-pooed it afterwards. Dude, I am balls deep right now. Sorry, Anita, but for me, it literally is my humor.
Yeah, and it's our childhoods. And it might not be Anita, by the way, only. My mother-in-law, who I saw yesterday, is in theory watching this show. Maybe. I explained to her that, oh God, you froze again. I explained to her what it is, what a podcast, and she goes, oh, I saw you. You came up on my Facebook. So I said, okay, great. You can tune in. We're doing it tomorrow at 8:30. We're going live. She goes, well, I don't know where I'll be at 8:30. I said, okay, well, if you want, you can watch it anytime. You can download it. You can get it on Facebook, anything. She goes, if I catch it. So she's still in the appointment TV. Julia's making fun of your frozen face. It is pretty good. So yes, my mother-in-law, Louise Mayer, shout out if you're listening. You're not. She's not listening. She doesn't care about me. But nevertheless, she may be listening along with Anita. So yeah, stick in the warm. All good. Are you back? Is he back? Julia, go kick him or something.
Yeah, she's not here.
She's not there. Oh, she's in Jersey, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so my mother-in-law may or may not be listening. So let's keep it.
Welcome if she is listening. You know, when people try, I want to explain my sense of humor. Big Mouth plus Tosh.0 is what makes me laugh the hardest.
Yeah, Tosh doesn't do it for me. He's all right.
The show, not his stand-up. The stand-up I can do with way less, but his show, that is like I'm a dark humor guy. I like Jeselnik. It just starts to become the same shit over and over again, you know?
Yeah, that's all fine and good. Tosh's show is all right. Jeselnik's not bad. It's just, he's a pill. But no, Big Mouth is fantastic. And
it's pretty good. I'm halfway through the second season. I'm getting there, but I'll tell you, that is not a show.
And even like the episodes, while they may be great as a whole, they may be like 6 minutes of just not funny, and they just take a joke too far and it misses. Like, it's not like Family Guy that takes it too far, which is the point and stays funny.
Right.
They just sometimes swing and miss, but they're trying something, and it's different and it's real. It feels very much like my 8th grade. So
yeah. No. So for people watching us on Facebook Live every Tuesday, 8:30, we're having fun. Make sure you're leaving some comments, hit the subscribe, give us a good rating on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you're downloading the episodes, which actually come out every Saturday. I appreciate all the love we get, but Zach, we have hate mail for the first time.
We do? Oh, I'm so excited. Who hates you?
Last week's episode, as we went over our Nickelodeon top 10, the queen
real mail, like pen to paper, someone wrote it in and mailed it to you and hates you?
I wish. The queen of Scream, Lolo Felso, is so mad at you and I for not putting Are You Afraid of the Dark on either of our lists.
It's trash.
I'm with
you.
I mean,
I guess it was her, cherry popping of Scream.
Ooh, I wonder if that was the cherry pie to her screaming. Probably, right? She also commented about Goosebumps, which I was like, I don't want to talk about that.
No, I can't read a book. But Are You Afraid of the Dark? Meh.
Exactly. It was like, sure.
It wasn't scary because it was Nickelodeon, so the answer is no.
I was scared. I was very scared.
A pansy.
I'm a pansy.
I'm the unloved child of divorce, so I was watching like Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like 8. Yeah. No one gave a shit about me. I was like put in front of the TV here. Whatever's on is on.
All right.
I saw way inappropriate things.
I have a story about being a pansy, but let's crack our beers quickly so we can get into it.
Justin Thomas just lost his sponsorship for saying the F word.
Well, Justin who?
Justin Thomas, the golfer.
Oh my God. Unsubscribe. I'm leaving this podcast if we're going to talk golf.
He lost his Ralph Lauren sponsor for using the other F word when he missed a putt.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, that's the real one. That's the one you can't say. Well,
that's like the versus for show and versus for keeps. So that is.
Oh, that one's for keeps. If you're going to do it, you get your money's worth because they're taking money out of your pocket.
All right. So you're drinking the same Drek as last week. Your Italian stallion.
The same from the hills of the Dolomite Mountains.
Which we will get into. I decided to color coordinate today. I am wearing, it is officially softball season because football season.
Please be a Red Dog like ale. They had crap from the 90s.
I think that was my first beer.
I
Absolutely.
might
I
have been
remember.
right.
It was my first beer.
Like, holy
I
crap.
decided to wear our softball shirt. Cheers to
Mhm.
you. Thanks for waiting for me.
Oh, I thought
And I got a Freeform Jazz Odyssey from Single Cut. It's an Astoria, local brewed. It's a chocolate cocoa porter Schwartz beer. I mean, it is just,
Schwartz
oh,
beer.
yeah, it's a Schwartz beer that is coconut chocolate. I was like, all right, $6. I'll support the local community.
I want to be called Coco Schwartz the rest of my life.
I might be able to do that for you. Anyways, sir, l'chaim to you.
I am Coco Schwartz. Fantastic.
Oh, this is dark.
That's it. Check, please.
Anyway, real quick about calling somebody a pansy. I got some hate the other day. You know, I've been making these like cute little commentary, weekend update-ish type of videos, and I made a comment. I personally didn't know the NRA was in New York for it to leave New York to go to Texas. God bless, I guess. But the video that I made, I've gotten so much hate. Oh, you guess you won't want their tax money. Guess I'll sign up for a lifetime membership. And then the magic word. Okay, snowflake. When did that become the word of like, you're basically saying the F word we were just saying, right? That's what you're calling somebody?
Yeah. I
What
mean,
is
Snowflake is become code for that.
it's become code for that. All right. Furthermore, what is your go-to you want to escalate a situation? When you want to go like, hey, you're walking down the street and somebody bumps into you. It's one thing to go like, hey, fucking jerk off. But then there's another thing to be like,
Jerk off usually gets it done, by the way.
what is your go-to? I'm really trying to make sure that we're not just passing each other. We're going to stop and have some words.
I mean, I am a baseball purist. So I would usually go with the magic word. The word, can I say that on this thing? Am I going to get Justin Thomas? The
Why don't
word
you use
that
the first letter?
C. The word that you say to an umpire when you want to be thrown out of the game. So that's code to like throw me out, to run me. It's as they say in Bull Durham, a word that's a no-no with umpires.
How many syllables is it? Ba ba ba? Or
Yeah.
ba?
No. Ba, ba, ba.
All right, you say the C word is one
No, no,
syllable.
no. Not that C word. The
That's a C word.
escalation C word. All right, fine, Anita. Please just if you call an
Cork
umpire
soaker. A cork soaker.
exactly. You call
Yeah.
an umpire a cocksucker, then you're telling him that it's real. Throw me out. The bench coach has got it from here.
Speaking of cork soaker, did you ever see that old school SNL where it was, I think it was like Janet Jackson or one of them, when it was all about going to this farm and like the farm, they took corks and they soaked them in the wine or whatever it was. And she's halfway into it. She's like, oh, well, the cork soakers and the cork soakers. Eventually she's like, so the cocksucker over there. That was one of those like cunnilingus. Did you see that with
that
Walken?
was excellent.
Oh, it's
But
fantastic.
the best of butchering like curses, and you've probably never seen it. You should. It's excellent. Michael Keaton, Johnny Dangerously is a fantastic movie from the 80s. And one of the bad guy is like Fargan Ice Hole, and
Right.
that's the shit. It's an excellent movie. Good
So
watch.
kind of the precursor to the good life.
Yeah.
Right. Because that was always like what the fork, type of deal. But no, Michael
I
Keaton.
heard that show was pretty watchable, actually. Never saw it.
It's like the same shit over and over. Like the first season or two, and then I think we gave up like season 3, but maybe I'll get back to it. Anyway, getting back to these names, I can't think of a name that I would try to escalate a situation ever on the street. I've been asking people for the last couple of days, like usually I'll be like, what's your fucking problem? Like I'll add an F word to a sentence.
Yeah,
Or
but
I'll be
it's
like,
a viable question because they could answer you with, here's my problem, and like just go on a list of their problems.
yeah, the good place. Sorry, Julia, didn't realize I had a grammar police here. So I guess I was just thinking, like,
You
what's
go
that
with
about?
grammar police. You don't go all in.
I guess I have
I go
actually.
all in. I've been called the grammar N. Well, not that. Nazi. Not that other. Oh God. Now we're on a topic.
Anyway,
I was an editor, so like I was raised to have like the Oxford comma like beat into me.
yeah. So speaking of beating into you in the grammar N, what I want is right now, anybody who is listening to this, I just want you to IM me, DM me, email me. What is your go-to word? I am hoping for so many just texts of like, fucking asshole, suck this. Like, I actually really am curious what people say when they want to get like a real good zinger in there. Because like my boy Timmy, I think you've met him like once. His, like, you're sitting around and people are talking.
Adult Timmy.
dude, most of the time that like you and I are talking to each other, I mean, I know I've called you plenty of things and you've done the same. It's never gotten more serious than I could really go for some more chicken wings later.
As we could.
I have a friend, well, he starts talking. When he drops a homeboy, it's when, like, the radio is getting turned up to 11. I'm like, okay, it's time to leave. Because he will just go and go. He's like, all right, homeboy. You're like, oh, Jesus. Now it just got really real. So, all right, well, people will hit us up. Zach, we've teased it.
Your phone's going to blow up. People just cursing you out. It's just fantastic.
I'm welcoming it. I'm literally asking anybody listening to start watching this.
My Thursday.
Well, this is episode 60, which I didn't realize was going to correlate so well with the story you teased last week about the Dolomites.
About the Dolomites and about forced beer and about my mom on her 60th birthday, whatever it was. So when my mom was about to turn 60, she was like having a holy shit, how can I be 60 moment? So she goes, that's it. We're taking the whole family skiing to Italy, which was a blast, free ski trip to Italy. My mom didn't exactly enter her 60s with grace and dignity. So Jenna's laughing already. She was there. So the first night we fly into Milan, because that's the furthest city north before we go up the mountains. And, we had a few glasses of wine at dinner and we're all jet lagged and tired. And we had to get up super early in the morning to get the train. So we're all in this stuff. We're in like tiny little hotel rooms just because it's the closest thing to the train station. And the hotel room is sort of shaped like a triangle. Weird. So you walk in and then it fans out. So the room is like the hypotenuse. There we go. So the door to the bathroom is one angle and door to the hall is another. So I suppose my mom got up, it was like 11 o'clock at night. She'd been asleep and thought she was going to the bathroom, drops her robe outside, opens the door to what she thought was the bathroom, goes in, door slams, she's naked in the hall.
Wow. What? So this is like super late.
11 o'clock at night, but like we're all conked. I'm up because it's football playoffs and I found some pirated site, so I'm watching it on my laptop.
You wouldn't do that.
I did. The Marshawn game where he rolled through the Saints, like where he became beast
mode.
Oh,
that was the beast mode game.
That's the night.
That was the 7-9 Seahawks.
Yes,
I remember that game.
So, but my stepfather has hearing aids that he had out on the nightstand. So my mom is now outside in the hall in Milan. 60-year-old woman naked, banging on the door. He's not answering.
Nothing.
People are walking by, but it's Italy, so it's like no big deal. She's out there. She didn't finally come to our door, thank God, because I would have sent my wife. Like, I'm watching football. You go to the door.
Which would have been a good thing. She much rather would have had Jenna than you. Full bush.
Sure, in theory. What'd you just say?
You know what I said.
You said. I guess so, probably. She said she was out there for upwards of 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
That's an eternity.
An eternity. Finally, my stepfather heard her answer the door and like came back in. That was night one. Day one of skiing.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, day one of skiing, she fell on her ski pole and got a black eye. Later in the trip, she bought like the local delicacy speck, which is like some kind of ham, to bring home for like people in her office. They told her they would vacuum seal it; it wouldn't smell.
Okay.
Did we go skiing the next day? Her room smells like a deli. For the rest of the trip, it reeked.
That's not the worst smell, though.
For her, she comes in and goes, Zach, Jen, we're changing rooms. I walk in and go, no, we're not. You pull me off this bed. I'm not going anywhere. So
she paid for it, though. You couldn't hook a sister up?
No, not with that reeked. Yes, but night one, outside in the hall, naked. And my mom is like, she dresses funky, but she's a pretty buttoned up, like say no to nudity kind of person. She's never nude. She's wearing the jeans in the shower. But yeah, 15 minutes is a long time.
That is a very long time. I don't know. Like, I've never worn a robe. I've always, like, I tried to wear a robe one time where
I'm a big robe guy. I love it.
Really? You get out of the shower and you're wet and then you try to cover yourself and then that gets
dry off and then you robe up.
Why would you ever robe up? You're just going to sit down and like your ball's going to be leaking down your leg.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm also a powder guy. So I got some movement. So I know what I'm doing. Trust me, it's a routine. I know
that was so much more than I really needed to know about your situation.
It's just anything goes. Mother-in-law's listening.
Well,
maybe.
Zach, when it comes to naked mommies, I don't know if I've ever really seen my mother naked, but
I have.
My best friend has. At least my best friend growing up. My parents didn't have a door ever on their room ever, and like our house growing up was a split level house where there were 3 rooms, and they didn't have a door ever,
That
which was
explains a lot.
super, super weird. But
Yeah.
furthermore, like I eventually moved down to the basement, and that was kind of my room, which also didn't have a door, but at least you had a couple of steps down where then like, you couldn't see into what I was doing, whatever.
We
Anyway,
know what you were doing. We don't just see it. Put the
okay.
tube sock away.
Never once have used a tube sock.
No, it's a waste of a sock. But I did have a blanket that you could break in half if you wanted to.
So I am downstairs and one of my friends comes over and he comes, the door was open. He walks in. He's like, oh, hey, what's going on, man? I was like, nothing. I think I was like playing like online poker or something. And he goes, all right, I'm just going to go upstairs and say like hi to your mom. I was like, okay, cool. I don't remember if it was 5 seconds or 5 minutes. He comes downstairs and he's like, your mom's naked in her room. I was like, what?
Like watching designing women naked. Like, what was she doing in there?
She took a shower, walks into her room, and she's staying there. He comes upstairs. He's like, because like that was something me and my friends always do. Is like, oh, you always sort of like go say hi to somebody's parents.
Of course.
It's like
he
walks upstairs. He's like, hey, Mrs. Oh my God, and she's just there like getting ready to turn. She just turns around and just everything. And I was always quite mortified about that.
I mean, did he like what he saw? Did he come back the next day? Was he one of those guys who starts like mowing your lawn just to like get more attention, more FaceTime?
I have no idea. I don't think my mother was at that point in her life where she needed people mowing her lawn or wanting people to mow her lawn.
Everyone wants someone to mow their lawn.
Speaking of nakedness and mowing lawns, I have been way too busy to actually dive into this story. I got many texts this morning, and I thought it was just more Joey Lucchese stuff. What happened, Zach?
Well, the Mets traded for Joey Lucchese, and he's got some potential, and he's never looked up. Okay, so
bury the lead, why don't you?
Yeah, I will quote a friend of ours, Eric, who actually had a funny line, which is rare. He texted me like, "This is literally meet the Mets, greet the Mets." So the Mets GM, there's footage of him sending many, many pictures of his schwanz to a female employee. Now she says unwanted.
I heard she was not American. Does that play into this?
Oh, in her country, it's just good business. But I don't know where she's from. I didn't really see where she was from. She's not American, so I guess they don't Me Too in her country. Mm-hmm. She held off reporting him until a friend of hers told her that this is not okay, at least not around these parts. And he got fired, which I guess I understand. I just think that it's nuts. The Mets didn't do their due diligence and know this ahead of time. Like my Mets shirt was solidarity. But I actually think they're having a good year this year. But yeah, I mean, you can't do that. You can't send your schmeckle or repeatedly. The word was unwanted, which begs the question: is that just code for he's ugly? Because like if Brad Pitt sent his schwanz, would she have been thrilled?
Always,
right?
That's
so it's essentially getting the word for like they didn't like what they saw. Because Denzel sending his hog, no one's got a problem.
Assuming he has a hog.
Oh, he's got a hog. Become Denzel without having something down there. But that's what happened. And this wasn't with the Mets. It was when he was with the Cubs. It was like 2 years ago. So.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like you've been married, and at least with your wife for so long. You have never been single with a smartphone.
No, I was, the Polaroid dick pic era.
You just mail it over there?
Yeah, you mail it over. Just shows up 3 weeks later.
we were talking on a different group chat today, and somebody was saying, one of my friends who's been married for, like 7-8 years now, multiple kids, he's like, oh, I've never sent or showed my, it's like, you never had a smartphone when you were single. When you have a smartphone and you're single, pictures go back and forth. Like, it's something that happens.
So you've done this? You've dick picked?
Anyways.
Yeah. Oh my God. What's your end game? That's your best move is to take a picture of your schwanz and just send it? That seems like a great idea.
Have you
heard of the cloud? It's up there now.
Been blessed by angels, Zach, you have no problem showing anything.
Yeah, 80 times optical zoom, you'll be fine.
Oh my God. And I can crop in Photoshop these days. Tell me about it.
So you can put a little hat on it. So you can put a little Oreo hat on top.
Yes, that's so good.
I'm so sorry, Julia. You're getting that tonight.
Well, I mean, what's the old joke? God gave men 2 heads and only enough blood to make one work at a time.
Well, that is true.
Makes sense. Anyways, I'm just saying, like, I have a patient who told me a story the other day. He works at a big company. I won't name it, but like, a big one. What do they call it? The Big Five, like the Fang M type of deal. So he was saying that he has a boss that got fired who basically was like at a convention and was showing pictures of his kids or his whatever to a secretary. And next thing you know, he gets to the schwanz and just kind of stops and he's like, fired. See you later. Bye. You're not getting a pension. That's it.
Wow.
Like,
Why
people
is it such an
do this.
offensive appendage? It's just because society has deemed this to be a private part. It's just a body part. You're a physical therapist.
Right, but
Body part's a body
it
part.
is something sexual. That is what it is. Like the same way words have meanings, you can't do that.
I mean, of course, you can't do that, but when it's all sexual to me.
So
Um,
what I heard, at least correcting your story, or maybe I'm completely off the wagon here, I heard his defense was those weren't my penis. I
well,
was sending somebody else's to her.
yeah, which is even weirder. But yeah, without him whipping it out, he's got a valid defense. Make him show the goods.
Oh,
If you
like you're
want
gonna
to keep
have a
your job,
full blown lineup where it's like, all right, cock number one,
oh,
schwanz number
I
two.
mean, you could do a penis lineup, and that's fine. Like just a little t-shirt cropped and then hanging out, or just make him go into. You want to defend yourself. You want to keep your job. Bring the picture. Bring what you're working with, and prove them wrong. If not, then it's yours.
Wow. Okay, but he still sent the picture.
That is true. You can't do that. Well, how many times did you send that black guy during Corona with the big hog?
Never. I received it a
Never?
couple of times. I thought it was stupid. That wasn't for me.
It was delightful. And it was cheeky, and too bad that guy's dead because he
I was
became
gonna say, he's very dead. His
very
family's
dead.
cashing in on all of this.
I know. Well, good for them if they can. But nevertheless, I never sent it to a woman, but I sent it to a few guys. Some of them were really well done and well crafted.
Right.
That's not a fireable offense.
I'll just
But
say
it has
that.
to be because it's unwanted.
What's always he has money and a good job.
Not anymore.
I have definitely received pictures and I've been like, that titty don't look like the last titty. Like I get very suspicious when I'm getting pictures of
You
different
got
things.
titty shots too?
Of course.
I missed out.
Yeah.
Smartphone
Oh my
dating.
god. I mean, it's like a Mardi Gras party. Did you ask to see your tits? It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
Anyway, I saw something today in the news that I thought was so up your alley. There's a restaurant that went viral in Montreal where
Mhm.
it's a Chinese food place that wrote its own descriptions of some of the food on the actual menu, where it said Mongolian beef, not that good, and then the General So's, not the owner's favorite. I thought this was great. I was like,
That's
oh my
very
god,
funny.
what would you pick? Is there any food out there that if you could actually, like fast food chain restaurant, that if you could just throw a little quip in there, you'd be like, yeah, don't get this, it's horrible.
Hmm. Like
I'm putting you on the spot here. I had time to think of mine
Yeah,
all
I
day.
got nothing, but I don't know. Taco Bell is pretty crappy.
Right. So if you owned a
Literally.
Taco Bell, what would you write next to a gordita?
Ooh, the gordita's good. Yeah, pretty crappy. Dot dot dot. Literally. You're good. The Taco Bell, you've got about 8 minutes tops.
Back when I first started trying to write jokes with some of this, a couple of months ago, I had a joke that was probably my best work. I mean, really, really my best work. Taco Bell has now introduced a jalapeno noir to its, there's the Taco Bell cantinas where you can get
Yeah, there's one
margaritas
on
and beer.
23rd Street. I see it all the time.
Right. Well, there's a couple of them. So they now have like a wine that's jalapeno noir, which is like kind of a spicy red wine. And the joke I wrote, which I thought was great, was that it pairs well with a chalupa and a case of the runs for 2 days.
It's not bad.
I thought it was great.
Pretty
It
good.
got a couple of likes. I was like, all right, this is good stuff.
Not bad.
Anyway, I was just so the ones I found, which I thought were really good, was Subway could start advertising footlongs as actually only 10 inches because that's a thing.
Well, I like that Subway's doing the NFL. Welcome to footlong season. All the pieces are there for a dick joke.
I thought that's what it was.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
The McRib I googled, not made of ribs. It is a pork shoulder, so at least it's pork, but it's not a rib.
Sure, it is. It's something. It's just chemicals.
But my favorite was Chipotle. I would put on any Chipotle salad bowl. There's a great chance you'll get E. coli.
Oh, you're gonna get E. coli. That
There's been
remains.
multiple cases
Their
over the
lettuce is
years.
like nasty, apparently.
They are famous for. I like literally was thinking to myself, which restaurant has had like a bad salmonella break? And I was like, oh my god, wait, no,
Oh,
Chipotle has had a bunch of
all
them.
of it. Oh yeah, they got it all. You'll get a bowl of eating there. Thing is just wild.
Very much so. All right, well, Zach, we have reached the portion of our show for trivia, and the only
Wait. Can we, before trivia, I wanted to, because we were talking about nudity and skiing. This is quick.
go ahead,
We got-
go,
we got
do
100.
you? We got time.
You said to me, ask things for audience members to participate in. So last night, because I'm one to do this, I was watching Ski School, the classic 1990 movie. It's every cliche in the book. It's Animal House, Revenge of the Nerds on a mountain.
Okay.
But like every 1990 or early or late 80s movie, there's somewhere between 10 seconds to 4 minutes of scattered nudity, like
Great.
random big tits. So like when you're a kid, when you're
Dong
10,
or no dong?
but no, of course not. The Ski School, it's a guy movie, but it's an excellent movie. Check it out. It's got all the P parts. So yeah, it's like girls skiing and they show their tits to make someone distracted on the race.
Oh.
Right. So anyway, that's the answer. So when you're 10 or 12 or whatever it is, and you see that, you go, oh, tits! Like it's a whole big thing. Right. Yeah. You don't.
Skeet, 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 skeet.
No good. Whatever.
No.
So
Oh, wait, wait. People, this is a joke that's been done. I watched Scrambled Cinemax back in the day. And you're like, kids
right.
these days don't even know what that means.
They don't know what that means. But my question is there a female equivalent? So like nobody was hanging, schwanz in a John Hughes movie. So like what made girls in like the late 80s, early 90s go, oh, look at like
A
gave
rainbow.
us the same thrill when we
Yeah.
watched Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, no. A rainbow, somebody giving somebody flowers, chocolate, like girl.
No, they had hormones too. Girls like they
No.
didn't. That's just a
Nah.
mistake. Well, girls, Julia, Samantha, who seems not to be here, Jenna, Allison, any of you normal, regular listeners, what made you go, oh, blank from
I don't want to
1980?
hear what Samantha and
Oh, I absolutely want to hear what got her going in the 80s
I
and
mean
90s.
Samantha is very pregnant right now. I do not need to hear anything like that.
I would love to hear what a very pregnant girl gets excited from.
Meanwhile, mazel to Shelby, who bought a house today.
Mazel.
Yeah,
Where?
Pennsylvania. Like it's a very nice house, huge backyard. So we're looking at this picture this morning, and people send out like I think it was Redfin or Zillow. You know what all the cool kids are using these days. And Samantha, welcome to the conversation, and doesn't want to be in the conversation
about that.
But anyway, they have this beautiful driveway where
There's an honest answer.
So there's a beautiful driveway where it's like, probably like 20 feet long. And the first thing my sister says is, oh, that would be great for sledding. And I said, what, right into the street? Like, who thinks like that? Usually you go sledding like by a hill. And my sister's like, if it's snowing, cars won't be going by. I said, that is not the logic you should be using of a driveway that goes directly into a main road.
Get a bale of hay. Call it a day.
Allison Snyder, everybody.
Yeah, she's good.
Very nice. Well,
I love me, but I love her. So yeah, that was my thinking at 1 a.m. That's where the mind wanders. It's like,
all right, well, I think that's a great place. I hope I get some text messages. Definitely comment on our Instagram, Booze Your Daddy, BOOSYOURDADDY. I hope people text me or whatever messages, and it just has, go fuck yourself, a box of chocolates. Those are the two big questions. I will make a post special for Instagram, and we will get some answers to this. Deal?
You're asking me if it's a deal? Sure, I don't know how to use the Insta. I can't afford that shit.
All right, well,
Booze Your Daddy.
Booze Your Daddy has reached that part. Samantha, we are about to do trivia, and I don't think Amanda knows, but I do think Julia knows. Zach, I'm calling truce, okay? You and I have been going back and forth with trivia.
I had fun watching the look on your face when I said the name Tony Tarasco. The look on your face was a punch to the stomach. The whole thing was just for that.
So I want to bring the trivia back to the level of questions that I hope you can get 3 out of 5. Perfect. And if you're really good, you'll get 5, but also something our listeners can participate in as well. Today, I'm going to be testing your knowledge on boy bands that were popular in the 90s. Any point in the 90s.
I am way too old. You
Here's
missed me
how
by a decade. All right,
what,
but go on.
what I'm going to do is I am going to read the first names of the members, but I'm going to leave out the most popular member, in my opinion. If you need that extra clue, I will give it to you.
I don't want an extra clue. Um,
You ready?
all right, great. Is one of the answers Menudo? I hope so. Go on.
Well, I'm not going to say Ricky. It's just going to be like Pablo, Consuelo, and Emmanuel.
Fine.
Question number one.
Oh, it was a boy band chick. That's what got her going when I was watching Ski School, watching Menudo.
Number one, I have Brian, Howie, AJ, Kevin.
Is that Backstreet Boys?
Everybody. This is
Great.
when you say, yeah.
Yeah. See, this is not my category. I was listening to Springsteen then and like Tom Petty.
Rock your body.
I was to the 90s. I was listening to Soul Asylum. Yeah, Backstreet Boys. Final answer. I'll do it.
All right, you got it. You nailed it. The last one was Nick, okay? I thought Nick was the most famous of them. Sure. Numero dos.
Menudo.
Chris.
Yeah, ask it in Spanish. It's Menudo.
Chris. Dan. Oh, sorry. Chris. Lance. Joey. JC.
Oh, that's in sync because I know Lance. And Joey is with Eric Fleischer, thinks everyone says he looks like.
Dead ringer. He is a dead ringer for Joey Fat One.
On his best day.
The one I left out. How about this? I left one out. It was Justin. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, right.
That was Instinct. All right. You're two for two.
And this is not my category, so let's go.
All right. Next one, and people watching along, please feel free to comment. Number 3, I want you to comment on who you think the answer is and the person I'm leaving out. It's for a bonus point. Bonus point. Number 3, Jordan, Joey, Jonathan, Danny.
Danny. 90s? Is that Backstreet Boys?
So
I said that right.
Backstreet Boys. Which was
New Kids on the Block, I think. No.
KNOTB.
Yeah.
Who was I missing? You are correct. It is New Kids on the Block. Who was I missing in that? The most famous one of the 5?
Oh, what's his face? Donnie Wahlberg.
And Donnie was number 5. Very good, Zach. We were driving this past weekend and a New Kid song came on. I think it was The Right Stuff.
Of course.
I didn't realize I knew every word to that song.
Everywhere.
And Julia had never heard the song ever before.
She's not from around here. They weren't big in Cambodia.
Jesus Christ.
No good?
Her mother moved here when she was 18.
Yeah. Not from around here.
Don't you think Julia would be a little more fobby if she was born in Fobby?
Fobby? What does that mean?
Fresh off the boat? You're welcome for that one.
I love it.
It's good. It'll get you fired from it. I have a good friend. He's a lawyer. He got written up for saying, "Oh no, my." By the way, he's an immigrant himself, Russian Israeli kid who mentioned his housekeeper was fob, and he got written up at work for saying that. He's like, "I am also an immigrant." They're like, "You can't say that. You can't describe people." So I'm like, I was like, "Okay." All right, this one's a little harder. I'm only giving you 2 names. Isaac.
Are there 3 people in the band?
Yes. Isaac and Zach.
Taylor. Hanson. That's my wheelhouse.
Killing it.
That one I had. That one, no questions. No problem.
Zacharias Elias, 4 for 4. And this is, all right.
I mean, I think. That one.
Would you agree right now that this has at least been fair as far as trivia?
This one's been more fair.
All right.
The other ones, the other boy bands, I just know like one of the people. But Hanson, you could have just named the 3 Hansons, and I would have just done it.
All right, last one's a little harder. You're gonna have to put on your thinking cap. This is early '90s, and I'm gonna butcher one of the names because I'm not quite sure how to say it.
It's a black '90s, man.
Nathan, Sean, Michael, and Wanya.
That Boys to Men?
Boys to Men, ABC, BBD. Zach.
East Coast Family.
5 for 5. Motown Philly back again.
That's a great song. They were great. But you gave it a little bit of, not that I wouldn't have, but you gave it a little bit away. You're butchering the names because no one's butchering like 98.
I was going to do 98 degrees, but it was too hard because it was like Nick Lachey and the other three putzes. I didn't know their first names.
I don't know any of them. I didn't even know he was in that. I
Ready
knew he was
for
famous for something, but I couldn't tell you for what.
being married to Jessica Simpson?
Well, that helps too, but like Tony
And he's
Romo
also
still
like
better.
diehard Cincinnati, if I'm remembering this correctly. Like
I
that's
don't really know what that means. What the
like
hell
when
is
the Bengals
diehard
were when the
Cincinnati?
Bengals were good, he was like front row type of guy.
Yeah,
You don't know anybody who's like sports allegiances. Like, oh, that's the guy who really like David Letterman is diehard Ball State.
yeah, but not for Cincinnati. That was the years where Revis owned Ocho Cinco. He talked his ran his mouth, and Revis shut him down 2 days in a row. Was
I'm
that one of
trying.
those games?
I'm trying to think of another example off the top of the head. Like, you know, Snoop Dogg is diehard like USC, and I know Eric Stone Street is crazy for like Kansas State. Like that's
Yeah.
his thing. Like
Okay.
you start to see these, or maybe it was Kansas. I think it's Kansas State.
No, K-State.
All right, ready for my hot take to finish this up?
Sure.
Boys to Men, Bended Knee, trash. That song is garbage.
We're gonna leave on a garbage Boys to Men song.
That's my thoughts. I think that song's
That's
terrible.
insane. They were great. Voices like angels.
Yeah, I actually the one of the guys I think like the
And
bass
everybody
guy.
graduated to End of the Road. That was
Oh,
before Green Day's time of their life.
you think I
That's old
graduated to
school.
that song?
No, you graduated to the theme of The Wire, but like
Way down in the hole.
exactly. That's what you graduated to.
Fourth season, best version of that song. Zach,
Fine.
closing remarks before we sign off.
I don't know. We really ran the gamut tonight. Naked Moms, Boys to Men. Watch Ski School. Excellent movie. Everybody. It doesn't get enough love. 1990s.
I bet you
skiing.
it's not even on Netflix. You old,
Netflix. Just go find it on Amazon and pay you $2.99. Cheap fuck.
not happening.
I'll cover your $2.99.
Venmo me $2.99 and I'll make it happen.
You watch it first, and then I'm Venmoing you.
I don't trust you.
Some fancy record player, or like
How about halfway? Give me like $1.49 and then we'll figure it out from there.
fine. But unfortunately, I don't have Venmo because I'm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. You're so
Jenna,
ridiculous.
Venmo him $1.49. My
Don't
wife
Venmo
does
me.
the Venmo.
I'll
for
find
me.
it, Jenna.
Yeah,
I'm just being
Well,
difficult.
send him $1.49. Shut his Jew face up. By the way, I've been told by Jenna I use Jew face as an adjective too much.
You're not doing the dice thing too much. You actually use it perfectly.
I use it a lot, but yeah, I don't handle the Venmo. It's too much hassle for me. She does all
Oh,
that.
I forgot about that. When we used to actually have lives and go out and meet up, I'd have to send
Yeah.
Jenna a Venmo request for your food.
It's mortifying. So that is
Oh,
true.
right. Wrapping it up. Another
Wrap it
great
up.
episode. Zach, thanks for coming on to the show. You killed it. You
Sure.
brought it today. Your creative juices
3
were
episodes
flowing.
ago, I was told I stunk out the joint, so I've been like racking my brain. And by the way, last night I had nothing. So thank God this Mets GM showed his schwanz. Ski school was on. My mom was naked. Like it all came together, coalesced at 1 a.m. last night. But I was nervous that I had like nothing, and that they were going to
Oh.
call me up for like stinking. I had one snooze episode, and then and they were right. They called me out, and they were correct. So I've tried my hardest to be better.
Make sure you're downloading the episodes. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave a comment. I told the people.
Give us the rating you think is fair. Don't pander for a 5-star. That's so cheap. It should be 5 stars because we're excellent, but do what you think is fair.
All right. Good night, Anita. Daddy out.
Good night.